You're listening to Civic Media. You can tune into any of our live shows on any radio station across the state with the Civic Media app. Find us in your phone's app store and listen anytime, anywhere. This is your WLAK Daily News Roundup for Lake Air, 107.5 FM and 1260 AM in Amory.
For WLAK News, I'm James Kelly. The North End Ski Club Board of Directors has decided that this year's North End Classic will take place this weekend. Officials say the club was struggling with the overall lack of snow again this year, but the little snow that has come is enough to go forward with the race near Cable on Sunday. The Classic will start at 10 a.m. just off Randyseck Road and will feature 25K and 12.5K race distances. Kids will also have their own Cookie Classic race with distances of half 1 and 2 kilometers. Interested racers must register by 5:30 Saturday. Duluth Public Schools officials are warning of potential layoffs in the future after announcing staff displacements this week. Officials say the displacements are not layoffs for the staff members who received the notice, but should encourage them to start looking for another job. The district needs to cut about $7.6 million from their operating budget over the next 2 years after a failed referendum last year. 41 district employees received the displacement notice and could be laid off without new funding or other staff departures. The Wisconsin Department of Public Instruction is seeking sponsors for their 2025 Summer Food Service Program. The initiative is meant to provide Wisconsin kids in economically disadvantaged and rural areas with access to essential nutrition during the summer months. The agency is looking for sponsors like schools, local government agencies, tribal organizations, and faith-based organizations to be part of the initiative. Interested organizations must contact the program coordinator and submit their sponsor application by June 15th. A Rice Lake man is facing OWI and possession of fentanyl charges after law enforcement authorities allegedly found him unconscious in a truck on the ice. According to court documents, 39-year-old Christopher Scarr was arrested on Sunday after being found in the driver's seat of the truck on the ice near Rice Lake's Veterans Boat Landing. Authorities were forced to break a window on the vehicle before he became responsive, after which the truck began to roll forward as it was still in drive. Scarr allegedly admitted to consuming fentanyl. Wisconsin Supreme Court candidate Judge Susan Crawford has filed an ethics complaint against her opponent, Judge Brad Schimmel. The complaint accuses Schimmel's campaign of editing an image of Judge Crawford in a new television ad, violating a state election law requiring candidates to disclose if artificial intelligence was used in an ad. Representatives from the Schimmel campaign reportedly admitted to editing, but not creating the image with artificial intelligence. The complaint could result in a $1,000 fine for the campaign. A bill to return test score standards to previous levels got its first hearing in the Wisconsin State Legislature this week. The new benchmarks introduced by the Department of Public Instruction have received criticism from both state Republicans and Democrats. DPI officials, including State Superintendent Dr. Jill Underly, say the standards were only changed, not lowered. Some lawmakers say even if the standards weren't lowered, the changes still make it difficult to compare this year's student assessments with previous years. Rice Lake Fire Department officials say a weekend barn fire caused over $500,000 in damage. According to fire officials, the barn fire on 22nd Street occurred on Saturday afternoon at around 2 p.m. The barn was being used to house livestock and contained hay and feed storage, and it took fire crews until about 7:45 to fully extinguish the blaze. Officials say no people or animals were seriously hurt in the fire and estimate that it caused about $550,000 in damage. The cause remains under investigation. Snowmobile and winter ATV trails are officially open in Burnett County. According to Burnett County Parks and Forest officials, crews began opening gates and grooming the trails on Thursday to get each one ready for use as quickly as possible. They're also reminding residents that to take advantage of the trails, their vehicles must be registered and licensed, and they must have trail passes. Snowmobile trails will be marked with orange blazers, and winter use ATV trails will be marked with blue blazers. Off-trail use will not be allowed. Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin and Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn have introduced bipartisan legislation aimed at strengthening dairy business innovation initiatives. The legislation seeks to help American dairy farms create new products, expand their markets, and modernize their production facilities. The initiative's program has helped hundreds of dairy farmers across the Midwest since its creation in the 2018 Farm Bill. The new legislation would increase the program's annual funding from $20 million to $36 million. The Wisconsin Department of Health Services says hospitalizations for the flu during the week of January 19th were the highest weekly total since before the COVID-19 pandemic. According to their data, there were over 600 flu-related hospitalizations that week, the highest total since January of 2018. Wisconsin has seen an increase in respiratory viruses like the flu and RSV this winter. Health officials are reminding residents to get vaccinated if they haven't already and take steps to minimize potential virus exposure during the winter. For WLAK News, I'm James Kelly.
The Bucks take on the Hawks. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. The Bucks are back in action tonight on the road against the Hawks. Milwaukee able to snap a 4-game losing streak with a win in Charlotte Wednesday, even though Giannis Antetokounmpo was out with a sore calf muscle. Head coach Doc Rivers.
Yeah, just, we needed a win. I don't think anybody was that concerned by it, but no one likes losing. I can tell you that. And so getting a win, going to Atlanta, hopefully having Giannis back, and let's see what we have from there.
The Bucks confirmed that their mega trade sending Chris Middleton to the last-place Wizards has been approved by the NBA, the team adding Kyle Kuzma from Washington and center Jericho Sims from the Knicks. Marjon Beauchamp was sent to the Clippers in exchange for guard Kevin Porter Jr. In college hoops, Wisconsin takes on Iowa at the Carver Hawkway Arena in Iowa City tomorrow, game time at 12 noon. With sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
On your entertainment beat, I'm Conrad Krieger. Well, if you're looking for a comedy movie, there isn't a bunch that catch my eye right now. But I watch You're Cordially Invited with Will Ferrell and Reese Witherspoon on Amazon Prime. If you're looking for a movie to just make you laugh, this is definitely it. Will Ferrell plays an overbearing dad, Jim, that wants to give his daughter, Jenny, the wedding of her dreams. Which is the same for Reese Witherspoon, Margot, who is overconsumed by her job, but wants to give her sister a beautiful wedding. Only thing is, the venue gets double booked, and Jim and Margaret fight over the beautiful island venue. Jim and Margaret try to sabotage each other's weddings. Little do they know how much they are hurting their loved ones. I mean, Jim even wrestles a gator in his bed. Don't ask me why this is in the film. This film isn't scoring that well on Rotten Tomato, as it's getting 49% critic score and a 36% audience score. But if you're just in the mood for some laughs, this movie will definitely do that. For your superhero fans and animation lovers, Invincible Season 3 has come out on Prime Video. It follows Mark Grayson, Stephen Yang, as an average teenager who discovers he's a son of the all-powerful Omni-Man. Soon after, he learns that he has powers too, when he finds out his father was actually sent to enslave the Earth and not protect it. He's forced to choose between humanity and family. The show is debuted with a 100% fresh critic score. Get all of Season 3 on Prime Video. The first trailer for Marvel's Fantastic Four: First Steps has dropped, seeing Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards, Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, Joseph Quinn as Johnny Storm, and the Bears' Ebon Moss-Bachrach becoming Ben Grimm, aka The Thing. It's a fast trailer that shows what you can expect, from CGI to the cast as the characters. Check out the trailer on YouTube. Fantastic Four: First Steps hits theaters July 25th of this year. Well, the big game is this Sunday, and with that comes funny, maybe outdated, and sometimes horrible commercials. A few brands have already rolled out their commercials, like Pringles, who features Adam Brody, that centers on the fear of running out of Pringles. Michelob Ultra takes us to pickleball, where Willem Dafoe and Catherine O'Hara compete as a team for a glass of Ultra. Catch the commercials, and maybe Travis Kelce proposing to Taylor Swift after the Super Bowl. Catch it this Sunday at 5:30 p.m. If you're looking to hit the theaters or stay in, here are a couple movies that are releasing this week. Renner, starring Marcia Gay Harden and Frankie Muniz, is about a computer genius that invents an AI life coach to help him find love. But things change when he accidentally programmed his mother into the code. Kinda Pregnant stars Amy Schumer as Lainey. As her plans to settle down and start a family fall apart, she puts a fake baby bump and tells a lie and accidentally falls for her dream guy. For more showbiz fun, tune into Nightlight with Pete Schwaba, weeknights from 6 to 8 p.m. on the Civic Media Radio Network.
We have some snow on the way late tonight through Saturday, 4 to 6 inches or more of accumulation possible by the time everything winds down late Saturday afternoon. So stay tuned for updates on that. Today, a mix of clouds and sunshine with a high of 21. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable. The temperature now is 0.
That's your WLAK Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at lakeair.radio. The national news cycle never stops. but it can be hard to find news about your local community. Civic Media is dedicated to providing quality local and state news coverage across Wisconsin. With the Civic Media app, you can get notifications about local stories that matter to you and your community. Find the free Civic Media app in your phone's app store and choose notifications from the menu to tell us what kind of news you want to hear about.